So in October of 2015, I did this, or 2014, when was it? It was Wednesday, October 15th, 2014. I did this blog and it was called Your Absence. And it was about um, my father and how I kind of felt just like, now, mind you, when I was doing this blog, God was just like, I think you should really start writing about, what you got keep, going on inside of you and get it out of you. So, like, I was really having a rough time not having a dad, and it really affected me for a long time. So, here goes the blog. It says, I had dreamed about the day I would meet my dad in person. Would I look like him? Would he remember me? Did he think of me? Did he know my birthday? Did he ever love me? Did he regret not being there when I was sick? Did he miss me? Why did he leave me? And so many more questions that flooded my mind. Growing up without my dad was real rough because I was always compared to him and didn't know him and or even what he looked like. I often would sit in my thoughts and would dream of the day that I would get to meet him. Would he answer all my questions and give me an answer that would take my pain and hurt away? I wondered what kind of family he came from, how many aunts and uncles did I have, and did I have grandparents? I wondered about his culture and what I missed on holidays. Did he remember me and wonder what I was doing? I wondered if he ever wanted me back, and if he did, why he never came back for me. I wondered if he knew that what I was going through, or even cared. Um, so when I was younger, like I said, I was in foster care, and to my knowledge, someone had reached out to him and had let him know, and he was in like on the East Coast, that I was in foster care and I was going through a whole bunch of situations, and not once did he come, and that's fine now that I look at it, but back then, it just it hurt. Um, So I thought, would he come to my rescue as I sat in foster care? I can't begin to tell you about the mental torture I put myself through thinking about him and what I meant to him. I finally got to meet him when I was 16 years old, but by this time I had my first child and was homeless. I don't remember how we got in contact, but I told him my situation and he sent a plane ticket for me, and I was on my way to meet him. I met him and I looked just like him. I had nothing but the clothes on my back and some in a book bag for my daughter. I asked him why he left me, and his reply was, Your mom was crazy and told me if I ever came back, she would kill me. Like, that's ever stopped anybody from dealing with someone? Like, there are plenty crazy chicks out there. Um, where did I go? Wow, that was it. This was not what I expected. And when I began to ask more questions, he said, I don't want to talk about it because it is in the past. Um, and I think that's probably worse because, like, I need answers. Uh, my childhood, for me, was never normal by any stretch of the imagination. And I just wanted some clarification on why certain things were the way that they were. And I never got that. Um, because the way that I felt was, he left me and he went on to have another child. I was nothing to you. And at this point, he was as bad as my mother. I didn't ask to be here, nor did I ask to be abused mentally, physically, sexually, or verbally. For the record, this was not sufficient. And yeah, he bought me and my daughter some clothes, but the minute my mother found out I was there, he sent me back. My mother threatened to call the police, and well, she did call the police, and she told him he was raping him, or she threatened. I'm not sure how it basically went, but all I know is I was back on a plane and I was back in Milwaukee going through the same thing. And I had so much hatred for him because he was not man enough to save his own blood from the likes of her. He sent me back and couldn't even do it himself. His sister took me to the airport. I would see him four more times in my life and would get glasses from him because he had the plug. The last time I saw him, I was 32, so now I'm 38. The last time I've seen him since then, I had my car accident and he drove down from Pennsylvania to come in. stay with me for a couple of days. So he sent his sister back, or sent his sister to the airport to drop me off. When I was 32, I got the first birthday gift from him. It was some money, which was pretty cool. I have talked about him on the phone. I've talked to him on the phone since then and randomly on Facebook. And then when I actually made this blog, he threw a couple comments on there and he got salty, kind of like, you don't think you could have ran this by me first? Nope, not at all. Was not going to run it by you first because I was a girl that was left out here by herself. And I was very hurt. And I needed to get that pain off of me and put it into something else. And I will not apologize for that. So to any man that thinks it's okay to walk out on their children, shame on you. Shame on you, because you know what happens? If their mom is great and she puts her all into them and gives them everything, they're going to be super successful. But if not, and they have to go through the struggle because they don't have the other parent looking out for their best interest, they're still going to make it. Or they could be stagnant. I made it. So to that child that was left behind, there's hope, boo, for real. You might think that you're missing out on something, but if they left you, you've never missed out on anything because they were a waste of time and energy and space for not handling their responsibility. The last part of this blog, I just talk about how I forgive my dad. And I thank him because I would not be the woman that I am today if it was not for his absence. I went through a lot of things and I'm never going to say that anything was easy, but I'm never going to give it the credit that most situations think they deserve for robbing you of life. And, I really had a hard time with this because I couldn't understand the relationship that God wanted to have with me because I didn't have a relationship with my earthly father. So how could I understand the chastisement or the love or whatever it is dads say that they have for somebody? So Matthew 6:15 says, "But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive you." And Psalms 19:12 says, "But who can discern their own errors? Forgive my hidden faults." Matthew 18:35 says, "This is how my heavenly Father will treat you, each of you, unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart." I forgive him from my heart. And I wish him the best. A couple of years ago, I'm not going to sit here and I feel like you're an enemy if you didn't do anything to help me and you did everything that caused some type of harm to me. You were an enemy to me. And I don't feel like that anymore towards him. I forgive him. And I understand it because sometimes when you mess up, you don't want to acknowledge that you messed up, and then coming back and trying to save face never works for anybody. I don't know him. Yeah, he's on Facebook and he's a Facebook grandfather. That's great. But my children really don't know him. My children will show him respect. My children will call him what they need to call him, granddad, whatever. But thank you. Thank you for leaving me. Thank you for, thank you for everything. You never did. Because when God came through and did it, it was amazing. And everything that I thought I missed from my father, no, it doesn't even exist no more. There's no more hurt. There's no more pain. There's nothing. So to anybody who did not have a father and feel some type of way, I'm here to tell you that God is ready with open arms to receive you and fill that void. All you got to do is holler at him.